Okay, I've got another important thing to know how to do, and that's change a tire. Nothing worse than being stranded and not knowing how to do that, or have anybody who does. Okay, so it's pretty basic, but there's just some main key features that you want to remember for safety, and so your vehicle actually can drive away after. So first thing you got to do is loosen these guys off. Okay. Before you lift your vehicle, which, okay, I guess this is the other part I should say first. You're gonna have a jack somewhere in your car. If you don't have a way to lift your car, then this is pointless, but you have to locate your jack, and if you go in your operator's manual, you'll be able to look up where the jack's located and what are safe places to put it. Putting the jack in a safe location is incredibly important. If you put it on a soft part of the car, it'll break it. It can't be on a fender. It has to be on part of the frame, okay? Or you can jack on the actual axle. That works as well. Probably the better place, actually, because then you're not fighting with the suspension. If you lift on the frame, then your tire's gonna fall down with it, right? Whereas if you lift on the axle, the shaft that the tire is attached to, that thing, then you'll just lift the tire, and it's as if it's sitting on the ground. You're just lifting the tire up, and the whole truck lifts with it. Anyway, doesn't matter, every vehicle is different, but you can lift on an axle as far as I know. Okay, so, but before you do that, you have to crack your nuts, and you need to chalk your tires and make sure your brakes are set and it's in drive. You don't want the vehicle to roll. Once you lift it off the ground, it has to stay in place, because if it rolls, you're gonna have a lot bigger problems on your hand than having a flat tire. You'll have a literally flat head or something that's underneath there, get crushed, or you're gonna wreck your vehicle. So make sure your tires are chalked, and you want to crack the nuts on your tire before you lift it off the ground. If you don't do that, the tire will spin and you won't be able to break them free. Okay, so to break them free, you just want to put your wrench on and just break it. That's it, really, just so it moves when it's on there. If it moves freely, that's enough. And it's always a good idea when you're going with your patterns to move around in a cross, then down, up, down, and go in a cross pattern. Don't just work your way around the tire. That's the wrong way. Go across, back and forth. It's just a good habit to have. There. If you have a security nut, you'll have to locate that. Your car will be supplied with a socket that fits on there, and then this will be the same size as these. Okay, so now that it's cracked, we can lift it up. Okay, so if it's flat, you're gonna have to lift it quite a bit at first, because the tire is already dropped, the thickness of the tire. So when you go to take it, put on the new tire, if you can't get it high enough, it won't fit on. So what you do to test that is, once you lift it off the ground, you should be able to spin it you should be able to spin it all the way around, not just move it where the flapper is. Anyway, so once you get it up, now you can remove all your bolts. Again, making sure that your vehicle cannot roll. The last thing, you don't want is make sure it can't roll. Okay, so just take the rest of the nuts off. Okay, so I got them all off. Just one last. I always take the top one off last, just as a safety. The tire doesn't fall off. It's kind of sit there as a catch. Right. Once you get them off, then you're going to take up the weight of the tire and just give it. Might need a little jiggle if it's been on there for a long time. You may have to kick it. But once all your actually, that's a good point. if your tire is not moving, like you can't just grab it and pull it off, and you need some strength for this. Tires are heavy, 40, 50, 60 pounds, I don't know. Anyway, if you can't, then that means that it's been on for a long time, and it's sort of like the dust and rust and stuff is sort of like seized it on there. So what you do is you leave one of these on, okay, or just leave a few on, even 2 maybe, and you have them just so they're on, but they're not, like there's gap, there's play there. And then what you can do is just kick your tire with the side of your foot, your heel, whatever, just kick it till it breaks free, and it won't fall off because those nuts will stop it. But once it moves, it moves. It just has to move a little bit and then it'll be free. So if it were stuck, it would just do this, give it something like that, and it's gonna break it free. Okay, I mean, you might have to hit it harder than that, obviously, but that's the idea, and the nut will catch it. So now that you've got them off, just remove the tire. Okay, that's it. Your tire's off, and you can change it out for your spare. That's another thing you're gonna have to find. I mean, if you got a little tiny spare, then that's okay, but you gotta get to a shop right away. My truck comes with a full-size spare, so I would just lower that to get it out, put it on. Actually, get it out beforehand. Probably a good idea too. You can always have your tire ready. Probably not, it's not, especially if it's under your car, you don't want to be messing around with that when it's up on a jack with the tire off, because you can just imagine, like, if that truck fell, because it could move. Anyway, so now you got your tire, put it on, put it back on, thread your bolts on, get them as tight as you can with the wrench, because the tire is going to spin a bit, but tighten them up as much as you can, again in like a cross bolt pattern, and then once you set the tire back down, once you set the truck down, then you have to tighten them up fully. Anyway, I'll just go through that quick. Okay, so carefully, you don't want to, when you're putting these on, you don't want to drag it across the threads that you screw the nuts onto, because it causes damage. So lift it up and just slowly move it into place. It can rub a little bit, that's okay, but you don't want to like put all the weight and push it across on the weight of the nut, on the weight of the bolt. Just lift it up, get it on so it like fits, and then there is a, in the middle of the tire, it fits on here. Okay, so you just have to get that on, but you want to make sure you don't give too much, like, any pressure on the threads of your tire. Easy peasy, goes on nice and easy, and then just use the security one. It's a bit easier because it's longer, because you put this on, just thread it on there, finger tight, do a bottom one. This is what cross thread pattern means. You're going across to thread on the next bolt. Push, once the top's tight, you can just push at the bottom and tighten up the bottom one. It's taking too long with my fingers. Use a tool. There, see, it's, I can almost tighten, but it like moves the tire, right? Okay, so the magic of television, I got them all on, and now I'm just going to go around and just give them each a little tug to make sure that they're on there. It's just enough to make the tire turn, right? And do it kind of cross bolt. Good. Give it a little jerk, a little tug, make sure it's on there. The purpose for this is because when you set your vehicle down, all the weight's going to be on that tire now. So if it's not in place and snug up against the drum, then it might not, it might stay gapped when you set it down and then try and you tighten the nuts and it's not there. So you want to make sure it's as tight as possible, but you're going to have to set it down and retighten it to make sure that there, because you can't get it tight enough with the tire spinning. So again, just jerk. You can even just hold on to the tire a bit, get a little tug. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to lower it down. Okay, we're down. Now, I'm a pretty strong guy. You want to put enough torque on these. You don't want them coming loose, okay? But you don't want to over tighten them. But chances are, if you don't know how to shit your tire, you're probably not going to over tighten them. But you want to get them in. It's always a good idea when you're tightening to pull towards you. You don't want your body going into it. Anyway, just if it breaks free, you might fall. Anyway, something like that. Okay, so just hold on to it and give it a good pull. I want to make sure those are really tight. Okay, like I'm moving the truck when I'm tightening it. That's how much you should be tightening. Like shifting the truck a little bit. Okay, once you're happy with that, and again, as tight as you can get it, like lots of times when you go to break free, like break them loose, guys have to like kick it, like they kick the freaking thing. Now, you're changing a tire. If it's an automotive shop, they're gonna torque it to exactly the right tension, but you don't want them, you don't want them too loose, so it's better to over tighten it. With this thing, you're never gonna get it too tight to be a danger. Okay, that's basically it. Pretty straightforward. Your manual is your biggest friend in this case, and again, make sure your vehicle is not going to roll when you jack that up. That's the most important thing to remember. Get the right place to jack, because you'll really mess your car up if you jack on a soft spot somewhere that can't take the pressure. It needs to be able to lift the truck or the car, whatever it is, and you're only jacking on the side that you're changing. You don't want to lift both front tires off the ground or both back tires off the ground. You have to be jacking on the side of the tire you're changing. You only want that tire off the ground. Also important. Be safe, and here's a good rule of thumb when working with stuff like this. Never put your body in a position where if that thing falls, it will crush you, because it could. So be careful.